Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about?
That.
All right, well, it's already fucking April already.
It is. Yeah.
April Fools. One day later.
Yeah. April Fool's
So
Day.
now you can't do it because if you just do a prank on someone, you're committing like a crime. See, April
Right.
Fools is like the purge. You get one day to do whatever the fuck you want. Any type of pranks.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how deadly. It's okay. You got the April cover of the day of April Fools. But outside April Fools,
No, you gotta be
that's when
serious.
the law comes. You know, and the alarms go off at like 6 in the morning or like 6 in the morning on April 2nd, and it's like, "Brrr, brrr." The April Fool's purge is over,
Yeah.
everybody.
There
Imagine
you
that.
go.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
That would be.
I'm gonna make a
Yeah.
rip off of the movie The Purge and call it April
The
Fools and
fools. The
the
fools.
Fools, Fool's Day,
Yeah.
and like someone that works for like the government, and he's like, because he's a
Yeah.
goofster.
Well, it is weird. Like I was online yesterday, obviously, and I knew it was April Fool's Day, like in my head, but like every once in a while, like sometimes you'd see a story and it was like clearly wrong, like, oh, but the weirdest thing is I started seeing like TikToks today that were clearly like released yesterday on
I
April
didn't
Fool's
see any
Day.
good April Fools. I don't know.
Well, I saw one that tricked me. This guy comes on and he's talking about a Lost sequel. They're going to reboot Lost because
Oh,
a
that's
few
kind of funny.
of the characters actually lived at the end. They didn't go into the church or whatever. And he's talking about how like Josh Holloway, the guy who played Sawyer, has been doing stuff, and it's going to be like Sawyer and a few other characters. And he had me for like the first 30 or 40
Wait, Sawyer
seconds.
died. They all died.
Yeah, but they, like, some of them went on to live their whole life, and they all met up in the church at the end. But
Yeah,
that
it was like a
was,
weird heaven. Like they already,
yes,
even though they were younger, they supposedly lived a full
right,
life.
exactly.
The what's his face became the new like
Yeah, Hurley became like the new
whatever that guy with the
Ben, or
eyelashes was.
yeah,
And what's his face kind of became his like partner.
right.
Like I remember that scene in the end like what was his name? He was a great character.
We're talking
Where he
about Benjamin Linus.
yeah.
Yeah,
Remember they showed his past where he killed everybody as a
yeah,
kid? So
yeah,
fucked
yeah,
up. Gassed everyone. Um when he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I could go in there or something."
yeah,
Like he's not ready or something. But then
right.
him and Hurley have like adventures after. And
Well, yeah, because like some of them lived, like some of them died right there and then. I think like like
some people
the
died on the island. Some people did live outside. Yeah,
right. And so this guy's premise was that it was going to follow the people who lived in the time they lived prior to going to the church to join their. Anyway, he had me for like 40 seconds and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I looked down and it was released yesterday, April Fool's Day.
yeah.
So
One of the best April Fools was this writer Mark Millar,
hmm,
who did like Authority and I don't know. He's done a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four. He did some of those Netflix shows like I forgot what it was. It was like the family, they're all superheroes or whatever. Jupiter's Legacy, that was him.
Oh, okay.
Um, which also got canceled after one season.
Yes.
Um, he had this whole thing where it was like, who's the guy? Orson Welles was gonna
Yeah.
make a Batman movie in
Oh, jeez.
1942. And it was all this like fake like sketches
Oh, I remember this.
and it was
Yeah.
gonna look like it almost looked like Da Vinci's sketches a little bit, like
Yes.
who would play these characters, and you're like, what? And it was so good. It was so I don't know if it was
Yeah.
him or he was the one who elevated it, but it was such an awesome like
I remember seeing that and like
there were
Googling it.
Batman serials around that time period. Like
Yeah.
there's like those shorts, they would have them and it looked really bad. But like um yeah, it was gonna be this like movie and it's like it's just crazy because you just picture this cool like dark gothic movie from like the
Right.
40s and like I don't know. It just it was very believable. It was a good prank.
Yeah, it was. I remember that.
I think
Yeah.
another good prank was, I'm pretty sure it came out on April Fool's Day, was making fun of the whole Mandela effect with Sinbad being in a movie where white people are stupid, and they keep what they do is they can't fucking understand that they're merging two movies from the 90s together. They were merging, I think it was called like, it was like he's like a babysitter, like Phil Hartman's in it, and Sinbad ends up like being like a guy who like watches his kids or
Okay.
something. I don't know. I forgot the name of it. But and then like Shaquille O'Neal was in a movie called
Like Kabam or something. Or
Kazam or something
yeah.
like that. So everybody's just merging those two movies together and
Oh,
thinking
that's
that
funny.
it was like Shazam or whatever the fuck they thought he was in, and it starred Sinbad. So somebody, I don't know what film company or whatever, made like a fake scene
Oh, that's
and they
funny.
made it look like a videotape where Shazam shows up and it's Sinbad, and it's like supposed
That's
to be
good.
like a scene from the movie, and it looks very early 90-ish. It's really funny.
Huh. Yeah, I'll look that up.
I always liked that movie, the one with Sinbad. I have to look it up. Sinbad and Phil Hartman. I don't know if Sinbad's still alive. I know he wasn't doing well.
I don't think so. Um,
I think he's still alive. I think he just wasn't
is
doing
he?
well. Maybe he got better. I don't know.
I don't know. Sinbad.
He's
Yeah, I
alive.
guess
He's
he is.
68. He just had,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah,
Huh.
Sinbad, Phil Hartman movie.
Weird. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't have. I don't know.
House Guest. And
Oh,
the thing
okay.
about the
Yeah.
House Guest is one of these weird movies that, a couple movies like this at the time, where McDonald's must have paid for so much of the movie's production or whatever that
Right.
like a third of the movie is a commercial for McDonald's. Like there's a
Yeah.
part where him and Phil Hartman are like sitting on a bridge eating McDonald's, and it's like so blatant. There's like that
Weird.
movie with the
Yeah.
divorced dads, and like half the movie takes place in a McDonald's, and like, and then there's Mac and Me, which is like ridiculous.
Right.
His name was Mac, and that movie was horrible too on top.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
there's something else I was going to talk about.
Hmm.
Well, we don't have Val Kilmer added to.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Well, how about this? We'll talk about Val Kilmer first, but what are we
Okay.
talking about this week, Joseph, before we
We're talking
go
about
there?
a new Star Wars trailer. We're talking about a severance theory. We're talking about the latest episode of Daredevil. We're talking about the elections that occurred the other day. Trump's tariffs that got rolled out and their effects on stocks. We're talking about that guy Mike Waltz, who's apparently just using the chat feature on Club Penguin to share state secrets.
Club
Uh,
Penguin. It was like I never used. I guess it's funny. I like still like I wonder if people even know what the fuck that is. Like anybody under like 35 probably has no idea what Club
No
Penguin.
clue. Yeah, yeah. That's definitely a dated joke.
Like
And then
it
we
was. We had the hold on. We had the license at work,
oh
and it
really?
was
Oh,
like
that's
so
funny.
dated by that point. I'm like, and the guy's like, "Can you make some shirts?" And I'm like, "Why?
Right.
Who's gonna want this shit?" It was just to keep the license or whatever. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why? They're not gonna do anything with it. Yeah, then they do, and like becomes the biggest property.
Yeah, that's
That's
funny.
usually how it works.
Well, and we're gonna finish up with JD Vance and the El Salvador prison. That's actually a real depressing story.
JD Vance,
Um,
the fucking furniture
mhm,
fucker.
yeah.
FF. He writes that on like his dating bio. It says FF.
Right.
DFF. No, DTFF. And it's like, what the fuck? What does that mean? Down to
Right.
fuck furniture.
The hot to rooms to go. Um
Again, JD Vance turns every section of IKEA into a
he's
porno.
looking for a rooms to hoe. Yeah. So he's all right. So
You see JD Vance in the showroom,
well,
you get the fuck out because it's disgusting. He's fucking the furniture.
I get we were gonna start with the Star Wars trailer, but yeah, I guess we'll start with
Uh,
Val
yeah,
Kilmer.
yeah. Val
Um
Kilmer passed away. He was 65. He
yeah.
had it's kind of sad. I mean, I don't know if it was the same form of cancer that killed him. Do you know what? I mean,
No, I don't. I assumed it was the throat cancer that kind of never really I guess it I don't know if it was ever in remission or let me see if they have a cause of death. here. Because it was no secret that he was very ill.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been anything in years. He had like tracheotomy damage. Yeah, I mean,
he
it said 2014. He had recovered after a 2014 throat cancer diagnosis that required two tracheotomies.
he
So
was
it's kind
a
of crazy, like 10 years ago, and you realize, like, oh yeah, he hasn't been in anything since then. It's not like his
yeah.
career was like booming, but still, it was like,
No, but he worked a lot.
yeah. I mean, he was in that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang movie. That was
I
like
saw
Robert
that.
Downey Jr.'s like big comeback right before Iron Man. I mean,
Yeah.
that in
He
Cider House Rules. I always thought it was kind of funny that this is actually kind of funny to think about. In the movie, no, is this Cider House Rules? No, what movie was that? It was the one with it had Tobey Maguire in it. And it had Robert Downey
oof.
Jr. and there was someone else. And there's a scene where Robert Downey Jr. had sex with Tobey Maguire. It's like afterwards. It's like they're in
Oh, I
bed
don't remember
together,
that.
and it's just kind of funny because it's like it's well, yeah. I guess it's a
Yeah.
different Spider-Man, so it's not the same.
Well,
It's a different Spider-Man.
Val Kilmer, I remember like when I was a kid, he was like a really big actor. Not like he was never like a number one marquee star, but I remember this one, and I'm looking at his filmography right now. I remember seeing him kind of all in a row in uh Real Genius, Top Gun, Willow, and then he was in something called Kill Me Again, which I don't remember. And then he was in The Doors, Thunderheart, The Real McCoy, Tombstone, True Romance, Batman Forever, and then Heat. And then he was in The Isle of Dr. Moreau and
That
Ghost in
movie
the
was terrible.
Darkness. That was awful. And
What?
then he was in The Ghost in the Darkness, which was real slow. That was they were like African hunters with
Yeah,
lions and
yeah.
shit. Anyway, he had like a dozen movies where he was like a legit big name. And
Yeah,
then
no, he was a big name, and the fact when they got him to be Batman was a big deal. But
yeah,
I always found it interesting that he didn't either they didn't like him or he didn't want to do it. He was only in one movie. He didn't do the Batman Robin
yeah,
sequel. He just did Batman Forever, which was like okay. I always think it's so funny. Everybody always talks about like how the bat suit had nipples on the George
right.
Clooney one, and everyone keeps posting that Val Kilmer Batman and you see the fucking that had nipples too.
Yeah.
That suit had nipples too, but I guess it didn't bother them. I don't know. Maybe they weren't as pronounced because it was like all black and only depending on if the light hit it, you would see it. But like in the
Right.
new one, it was like just straight up nipple. It was super weird.
Yeah. He was good. And from what I understand, like I think he may have been like a little temperamental as a younger person. Um and but like he mellowed out. Did you see that movie Val? The one
The
where
documentary where his
yeah.
son basically is his voice.
Yes.
His son
Yeah.
sounds like a lot like him. Yeah, it was really good. It was kind of sad. I like the ending though when he's in the I don't know if it's him and the daughter or something. They're being Batman and Robin. It's
Yeah.
kind of cute. They're in like the little
Yeah.
cars and everything. I
I
liked
guess
him in he was great in Life's Too Short, that show that starred
hmm.
Wicket and Leprechaun and the guy
Oh yeah,
Willow. What's
yes.
his name? What's his name?
Uh uh what is his name? Warwick.
Warwick Davis, yeah. And
Yes.
he shows up in the episode wearing like the
Yeah.
bat helmet. I don't know. It was just really funny. And I love like they did like some anniversary thing and they were just kind of like they did some skits. I don't know, it was just really funny.
Yeah. It was
I
I thought it
mean,
was weird. He
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 was
was
probably like
dormant.
I'm sure he was a bit of a weirdo and everything like that, but I mean most of these actors are. They don't live normal.
Yes.
Dude. They don't live normal lives. I mean they don't have this they're not working 9 to 5. They're not like
No.
it's not
And
normal.
he
It's not a typical path, and you're gonna be fucking eccentric. You're just going to be. It's like it takes a certain kind of person, and I don't know. Somebody's like writing like he was a supposedly like some egotist. I'm like, who gives a shit? Like the
yeah.
guy's dead. I mean, it's not like he like fucking raped someone or something. You know what I mean? It's not like I mean,
Right.
I don't. Yeah, I
No,
don't
I mean
know.
I think he was
It's just a problem. Like he was probably a pain in the ass.
yeah, like that Brat Pack Robert Downey Jr. I think a lot of them were like that. And some of
He wasn't
them
part of that though, and I feel
no,
he
I
was
know he
not part of
wasn't
that
part of
whole.
it. No, I know he wasn't part of that. I'm just saying like that time in the 80s where it was like there's a lot of like
I just think it's
bratty young kids.
yeah, that movie
Um
Top Secret.
yeah.
Such a strange movie. I never see. I didn't even know about it until like Naked Gun 2 came out. I was like, "What is this?" And I remember, and I think I was like, "Oh, okay." I might have seen some clips of this when I was younger, actually, on
Yeah.
that HBO, and I watched it. I just thought it was so funny that that was like one of his first movies. And then he was in,
Real Genius was the first
yeah,
one I
I know.
really.
I never got into that one. I don't know. I never got to Real Genius. I liked Weird Science better. I like my science project better. Real Genius, that's the one with, like the popcorn laser in the end or something.
Yeah.
Like the whole house just like doesn't the whole house just get filled with popcorn?
Yes. Yeah. Gosh, that was a while ago. But yeah, I think you're right.
I never got into the movie. I don't know. I just never maybe
Yeah.
I'll try to watch it one day. I don't know. I just feel like it's like one of those movies. I just didn't care for it as a kid. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate him or anything. I just think I don't know, maybe I didn't like the pacing or I didn't find it that funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I always liked him, but I always felt like he never quite fit in. I thought he was best. Honestly, I thought he was probably best in the Doors movie. I thought he was
I
really
never
good in
saw
that.
that movie.
It was good. I mean, it was like a little weird.
Oh, it's Robert. It's what's his face
Yeah, Oliver
directed
Stone.
it.
Did
The
you
fucking
see
JFK guy.
did you see I don't know if you saw this. I didn't mean to bring this up today, but Lauren Boebert, because now the government's run by lunatics. Lauren Boebert,
Now,
they brought in Oliver Stone to testify at a hearing about JFK's files, right?
stupid.
And Lauren Boebert's questioning him, and she's like, "Well, you wrote a book saying that like LBJ killed him or whatever," and the guy's like Oliver Stone's whispering to his attorney, like, and he's like, "I didn't write that book," and she's like, "No, I have a copy." Anyway, Lauren Boebert's been talking to this guy for like 3 minutes under oath, and has thought he was Roger Stone the entire time instead of Oliver
I'm sure
Stone.
she's met Roger Stone. She
You
did
would
something
have to
recently too,
think
where she's a fucking idiot. There was something else she did recently. Like she's just a
it's
fucking
like an
chicken
idiot,
brain.
yeah. Like clearly she would have to know what Roger Stone looks like at least, and Oliver Stone does not. They don't
No,
look.
Roger
Yeah,
Stone looks like a fucking weird
it's like a
pinhead
homeless guy.
Batman
Yeah,
villain. Like, I
um,
mean, they look nothing alike. I
yeah.
know. I would imagine that she met Roger Stone a bunch of times at like
You
Mar-a-Lago
would
and
have to
shit.
think. I'll bet you to
They're
find
all
photos
part of
of
that
them
same
together.
grift. She's not like she's like on the outskirts of that.
I
They're
think
all part of that
the
MAGA
thing that might have
bullshit.
confused her was the book.
She's a
That it was a
fucking idiot.
book.
No, she is. There was something
Um,
recently, and she like got completely wrong. This woman has like no business being in government. She's like
yeah,
wrong. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter though. These fucking psychos keep voting for her, and
yeah.
I
Mm.
I like feel like a moron though. I thought she was the congresswoman for fucking Colorado Springs. I remember writing like "Good job, Colorado Springs." All these people were like, "That's not the district," and I was like, "What?"
It's not Colorado Springs.
No, it's actually a district that's like literally next to me. Like if I drive like a mile from my house,
Oh,
I'm in her district. It's like Douglas County. I didn't know that. Which makes
weird.
sense then that she got easily voted in there because Douglas County is like
Yeah.
they're insane. They had like this crazy thing with the school board. It like had national news. It was like super corrupt.
Oh, I saw that on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, no, it's sad that Val Kilmer died. And I mean, I wasn't like shocked, but
No, no.
I didn't realize he was only 65 too. But I mean, it makes
That's a little, yeah.
I
But I
mean,
guess that,
fuck, what's his face? I mean, he's from Top Gun. They said his first major movie was Top Gun.
yeah,
He was Goose or something. And I think suppose I never saw the sequel, but I guess they used AI because he had no voice anymore. They
right.
used AI for him. I guess, I don't know if he has like a part in the movie or they use his voice for something. His
Um,
character died. Didn't his character die in the original?
yeah, I think that's the plot of the movie. Um, I don't know.
Something
I would
about
have to.
Goose.
Yeah, I never saw the second one.
I never watched it either. Everybody said it was amazing, but I don't
Uh,
know. I never watched the first one, so
my wife was watching it on TV when it was on some streaming network, and I sat down and kind of watched like 20 minutes of it, and it was literally just an airplane chase the entire
I just
scene.
never got in. I never watched the second one. I heard it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, it looked good. I
I always
probably
my favorite thing about Top Gun is just Quentin Tarantino in that movie. There's some like indie movie where he's in it. It was like they said it was like around this time period, like the early '90s. Everyone would try to get Quentin Tarantino to just have like a cameo in the movie.
yeah, yeah.
I don't even know what the name of the movie. It doesn't even matter. It's a scene at a party, and he's talking to the guy, and he's basically telling him that the
Oh,
plot of Top Gun is the main character trying to overcome his homosexuality.
Yeah, I
And
remember
it's like the
that.
beach ball, the volleyball scene. They say it's like the gayest scene ever made. And
Yeah,
like there's and then he says there's a scene with him with Goose or whatever, and he's like, I got your back and you got my back or
right.
whatever. And like how the woman who ended up being a lesbian in real life anyway, Kelly McGillis, like she's just like
Yeah,
it's all about just aiding him into being like gay.
yeah, that's funny.
Did the I think the Family Guy, the gay couple that are newscasters,
Yeah, yeah.
they were like recreating the scene with them with
Oh,
Top Gun,
jeez.
the volleyball scene.
Yeah, yeah. What was that movie? Do
You-
you remember the movie where he
no,
was?
I bet if you just Google, like if you just go on
Yeah,
YouTube and type in like Quentin
yeah.
Tarantino Top Gun, that scene will be there. That
Right.
scene was probably
Yeah.
watched more times than anyone actually watched that movie. I
Right.
guarantee you more people know that scene and they don't even know what the movie came from. It could have came from fucking Star Wars. People would not know.
I was seeing
I always
something.
thought I thought that was a weird scene in the new Star Wars movie where Quentin Tarantino corners a guy at a party talking about how Top Gun was gay.
They I saw something on, I forget where it was, but today where the reporter had asked Val Kilmer like how homoerotic was Top Gun on a scale of like 1 to 10, with 1 being just a little homoerotic and 10 being like Liberace in a fighter jet. And and
Watching a fighter jet.
and Val Kilmer said it was an 11. So
He did.
yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know if it's true. I read it. It was like some, internet column or whatever. So I'm assuming it was true, but
And I
like
imagine he had a good sense of humor.
I think so. I think that it felt true.
I think he had a good sense of humor. Like he was
Yeah.
great as Mad Mardigan and Willow, and
Yes.
basically a Han Solo ripoff, but whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I always thought it was crazy, like the girl they got to play, like his daughter in the Willow show, even
Mhm.
though she was not related to him.
Right.
She looked like she could be
Yeah.
his kid. The
Yeah.
casting of her was pretty crazy. She got
Yeah.
trapped in that armor in the end. We're never gonna know what's gonna happen to them.
Uh,
What the worm wasn't the worm like the big villain of season?
yeah. I That was really disappointing because that was a great show.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was real fun.
I don't know. I
Um,
guess people were like, "What the fuck is Willow?" Because I mean, again, it's like insane that they even made this
yeah.
show because it's like Willow was never a hit. Maybe on video
No.
it did well. Maybe it did well. I mean,
No. People
I
had like
watched
a
it a lot as a kid.
nostalgia
It was
for
on
it, but
HBO. What?
people had a nostalgia for it, but it was like, you're right, it was never a hit.
That's like Tron. Tron was like that too. Like
Yes.
when like they announced they're making like a Tron 2, and I was like, Tron 1 sucks. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? People are like, oh, Tron's great. I'm like, you go back and watch it,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
Give it a shot.
it was a bomb. It was a bomb when it came out initially. And then when the second one came out, it didn't do well. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
duh.
I was a little surprised too that the Dark Crystal came back, because I remember the Dark Crystal. It
I
wasn't like,
did you watch that on Netflix?
yeah, I thought it was good.
It was good. It was weird. I was like watching. I'm like, so they just gotta like kill these fucking Gelflings in the end,
Yeah.
but it didn't end there. It just ended on like some battle or whatever. It didn't
Yeah.
like end with like I always thought it was kind of cool. There was like these two characters that like they were basically the same match. Remember, like there's like the Skeksis and there's like the
Yeah.
other guys, and I don't know. And that's when I learned the Skeksis had like small two extra arms, and I was like, wait, they have two extra. Like I knew
Yeah.
the
That was
other ones
weird.
had extra arm. They had four arms. The ones that looked like cows or something. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Oh
they were the good ones
yeah.
that raised the Gelflings.
Right.
They were like the Mystics, I think. Yeah, they were the Mystics.
Yes.
And then there was and then there was the Skeksis who were like kind of evil and they were all about
Right.
food and shit. And I guess they did have a second pair of arms. They were almost like vestigial and they kind of like
Ugh.
but then there was like the Hunter, who was like a new character, and he used his extra arms. I don't know. I was just like, wait, what? They had extra. That's
Yeah,
weird.
there's a
I
lot
didn't know
going
that.
on there.
But
Oops.
they run into this group that live together, and it's the joke is they're basically the same person. Like
Yeah.
they're like almost like a weird couple or something. They live in
Right.
a house, and they're outside of their communities. Like and they're like they are the pair. So if like one of them died, the other one would just vanish. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, the show was good. I liked it. I just they didn't fucking renew it because it was probably super fucking
Yeah.
expensive, and they were just like, you know what? You should be lucky this even got made, dude.
Yeah.
The fact that
Yeah.
this exists is like insane in itself. I wonder if it's even on there. Like, does Netflix pull the original content down like fucking
I don't
Disney and
know
freaking?
if they do, to be honest with you.
I'll look it up. I
Yeah.
feel like like they have licensed stuff that goes away, or like
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
Marvel stuff got taken back by Disney, which makes sense because of the purchase. But like,
Right.
I'm just gonna I'm on
Yeah.
Netflix real fast. I just want to see this because
Yeah, that is weird. Um, hmm.
Crystal
Yeah, I
Cat.
don't
Oh, Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. Is this it? Yeah, it's
that
on
was
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
on there. You can watch the whole season. I thought it was good. I think it's
Hmm.
worth watching. I mean, they're never gonna make a fucking sequel,
No.
but which kind of sucks, but that's the nature of fucking streaming
Yeah,
or
it
the
is.
nature of Netflix. It's like if people don't watch that show in the first 2 weeks, they just are
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I
they'll
guess no one
pull.
wants the second season." Like, what
Yeah.
if a show does like really good, but it doesn't like? I guess the problem would be like they probably wouldn't be able to make it because like most of the actors like contract was up and they're doing some other work or
Probably. I don't know. I mean, like, it would seem to me that like so many shows didn't, well, we've talked about this before. Like Seinfeld would have gotten canceled, like the first season.
oh, but any
Schitt's
of these
Creek would have gotten
shows like
canceled. Like,
Seinfeld is lucky.
yeah,
Seinfeld should have been canceled after the first season. That's how like lucky he is. Like
yeah,
everyone on that show is fucking lucky. The fact that the first season's only like 6 or 8 episodes, and it's kind of weird. It's not like
yep.
even close to what it is. It
No.
is until like the second season, and even that, I don't even know. I think that might have gotten a full season. Maybe it was like 15 or whatever. But again, it doesn't like really hit stride to like the third season, and it's like, yeah, dude, like you're lucky as fuck. If you were on
Hmm.
Netflix, you wouldn't even exist now.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to
No.
date Shoshana Longstein. You would have to date
An adult.
Shoshana's grandma. What?
An adult.
You'd
Mm, yeah.
have to date an age appropriate person instead of a child.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. All right. Well, all right. So Val Kilmer has passed away. Um, First thing
Yeah,
we were going to talk
that went
about
on
that,
for me a bit, but
yeah, the first thing we were going to talk about is the Star Wars trailer.
I
Um,
mean, it's not much to talk about.
yeah,
You forget. It's like it's already fucking April, and in a month it'll be May the 4th. Be with you. It's just the
yeah,
4th of May, and
right.
Disney Plus tries to make a big deal on that, and they either release, there'll probably be a trailer that'll drop for like Ahsoka
Yep.
maybe, or
Mm,
they'll drop something with Mandalorian. Who knows?
yeah.
They always drop some goodies and then they drop this series on Disney Plus, which is kind of cool. They did like what was it called again? This one's the what? Age of what?
Geez, it is. I just had it up here because I had the title wrong initially. It is Tales of the Underworld.
Yeah, Tales of the Underworld. Last
Yes.
year they did like Tales of the Dark Side or Empire,
Right.
and then the first season was Tales of the Jedi.
Yes.
And I do find it interesting though that they haven't repeated things. Maybe I bet maybe next season they'll probably do like Tales of the Jedi again or something, or
They could, or
Tales
they
of the
could do one on
Rebellion.
like smugglers, or I mean, there's a whole bunch
What?
of little smugglers, or I mean, there's a whole bunch of like groups they
Tales
could
of the
focus
Jawas,
on.
and it's just a whole
Yeah,
show of just huts
yeah, well,
climbing into each other.
yeah,
This
well,
has got everything the kids want. What's that? Huts fucking.
but,
I don't think anyone. Never mind. Go
yeah.
ahead. Put it
Well,
in.
I think this it looks real good.
Content is content. What?
Yeah, it
Fifty
looks real
dollars is
good.
$50.
The animation style looks real good. Everything looks real sharp. I'm sure it'll be good.
And as
Um,
of it's similar to the Clone Wars, but I always feel like it's like a little bit more spruced up. There's like something to it. It's like a little
yeah,
more painterly looking, or I don't know.
yep, yeah, yeah. It's stylized for sure.
It doesn't
Um,
feel kiddie at all.
no,
And it gets pretty dark. It can get pretty dark. All of them have been like that. And like I said, I really like the first one with Count Dooku. I thought that
yeah,
was awesome. I thought that was like a good because I always feel like he was such a great character in a way, or he had potential to be a great character and a great villain. And you get what's his face, Lee.
yeah,
Um, Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
I was always found that funny that you find out Christopher Lee's last name because he was actually related to General Lee,
Oh wow.
the car. Yeah, him and the
Yeah,
car were
right.
related.
The Dodge Challenger. Yeah.
Yeah, the dot. Yeah, he's part Dodge Challenger. I don't
Or
think people know
Charger.
that.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Weird.
When my dad fucked a car,
What
that's
was
how I
that
became.
show? We watched it. It was about a was it called Chrome or Steel or something? Remember that like 2, 3 years ago?
Titane,
Titane, yeah.
that French movie, and the girl's
Yeah.
like fucking putting metal. Doesn't she die in the end or something?
I think she
I
has
don't
like
know.
metal under her skin or something. I forget
He was, I
most of
don't
the
know. That
movies.
was like one of those weird movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that Star Wars show. I think
Yeah.
that'll be awesome.
Me too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, we're not really. I mean, we already talked about Severance already, but I mean, do you know that guy's name, the writer?
Mm,
Was it on
no.
TikTok that I sent it to you? Did I send it to you through text?
I think you sent it to me through text. Let me see if I can find it here. It shouldn't be. You just sent it to me the other day. Um, all right. So it is, let me see if I have this right. Jason Pargan.
Yeah, Jason
Yeah.
K. Pargan. He's like a writer, and
Hmm.
he's a pretty big TikTok personality. Like,
Yeah.
and he does these like throws these little curveballs, and he says that his theory is that he thinks the writers meant to end Severance at season two, and they
Right.
said that they added things in the end to make you, um, because they found out supposedly last minute the show was getting renewed. I don't believe him though. I think he's wrong. I feel like that show was such a fucking hit the first season. It was so well received. There was no way in hell that Apple only gave it one season. I bet you they were like, you
Right.
are completely, you have creative control. You need 4 seasons. You got, I don't know. The rumor supposedly is that next season's the last one, which again, I'm kind of fine with. Because I guess
Yeah.
the way it ends and everything, people are like, it could have ended there. But no, I don't think it would have been a satisfying ending. If it ended there, I don't agree. I think there'd be way too many things open. We don't really know. We're only just finding out what the fuck Lumen is. It's still like this
Yeah.
weird mystery. There's a lot of unexplained. But he was bringing up these points that he said that these characters are all doomed. It doesn't. He said the show could stay on 10 seasons, and in the end of the day, Helly and Mark, as we know them, are not going to exist
Yeah.
because like, you were the one who even cleared it up. I said they could have did like a switch, but you said no. Like they're like these. They're like an add-on onto the person. They're not
Yeah.
like. I mean, some like fucked up way, which could be kind of interesting. Whatever that chip they have in their brain
Hmm.
could be like stored, and they could live
Yeah.
on in like a virtual world. In
Yeah. I mean,
theory.
you could see that, like for
I mean,
sure.
it's literally just like another identity that just turns on when you go to work, which is, and they explain that more in season two. Like I said, like they touch on a bit in season one, but you don't think about the duality as much. You
Right.
forget. And then this season they really played up, and it's like, yeah, these are like two fucking people. Like it's bizarre. And the fact that there was like 25 different people, and like and that one woman, or they were trying to do that. I just don't think it'll work. Um, I think he's wrong though. I mean, like, okay, like the Dylan thing he brings up, he says like that had a good ending. It could have ended there for that character. But because then he just shows up in the end to take on Malchik, and it's just kind of like an ad. Like they said that he could have been like a piece of furniture, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. I
Reducing Dylan down to being furniture. Shame on you, Jason
they
Morgan,
turned him into
author.
Hodor. They turned
But
him into
yeah, he
Hodor.
literally turned Dylan into Hodor. God, I remember that. That was so depressing.
I think that the Irv last scene is the only one that really makes sense. Is like, yeah, that seems like a concluding
Yeah, it could
element.
be, but I still think there's something else to
I
that.
do
And I
too.
feel like there's more to him. And like you said he probably went through what's it called?
Reintegration.
Well, because he like when he was like in the outside world and he goes to that dinner, I guess he himself had no memories of his innies and relationship with the guy, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
there's more
so
to it than that. I don't
I do
think
too.
he's
I do too. I do think here's the one thing I do think is that last scene is a great last scene. Like
Yeah,
it would have been a frustrating last scene, but it's a great last scene. But yeah, I think they were planning on a third season. They got a third season. Severance, you're right. At the end of last year, Severance was already a big hit.
yeah.
So
I don't believe that they made season two to be a one and done. Like,
yeah,
no, I think they knew. I think more stuff would have happened in the show.
right. Yeah,
Like,
I
I
agree.
don't know. I get what he's saying though. It doesn't matter. It could go 5 seasons, and like we're still gonna get to that point where it's like,
Yeah, that is true. Um,
like I
but like
said,
you,
in theory, like that could be something where it's like these characters live on like a weird virtual world. I mean, they're in the end of the day, they're like a weird chip
yeah,
inside your brain. It could like, I don't know. It could be like an identity. I mean, it's literally like an identity stored in there.
right. I think it's going to, um, I think they're just gonna all reintegrate and it will make sense the way they tell it.
I just think
And
that if I had that in the back of my head, I'd be fucking picking at it all the time.
yeah, the actual chip, yeah.
I'd just be like
Um,
picking at that fucking scab or something. I don't know.
it's just like I think like when they reintegrate, they'll realize, oh, we were always one person, and
Well,
it's
in a
not
way
gonna,
they are. It's
yeah,
like Dylan. Dylan's a perfect example of that because Dylan at work is Dylan with no baggage.
right,
Something bad probably happened in Dylan's life, and then other bad things happen, and it
yep,
reduced his confidence down. And this Dylan is free of all that, of whatever that baggage is, that
yeah,
Dylan and the outside world. And that's kind of what they explained with Mark too. The guilt, Mark could go to work, not have to deal with the guilt of his
right,
wife and being a drunk or whatever. It makes perfect sense. It's same thing with like Irv, where Irv was like he again, it was like they're all kind of like extensions or
hmm,
subconscious of these people. And like I said, the Dylan one makes total sense. Like his world is at this job, he's good at it, his confidence is
yeah,
big and everything. Because, but he doesn't have memory. He doesn't have the failures that the other Dylan has. So it's
right,
easier. It's a clean slate. He gets to go in and not worry about like, oh, will I screw this up again? Will I say the wrong thing again?
yeah.
Sometimes
No, it is,
people fall into a trap and they never not get out of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they make the same mistake all the time. It's just something that happens sometimes, and he's free of that. So I think it's a great example of like that. Yes, in the end of the day, they are the same fucking person.
yeah,
Helly is the same person as Helena. Helly's just the subconscious of like, I think what my family's doing is all my dad's a monster. These people,
yeah.
like
The only thing that makes sense would be that Helly at one point sacrifices herself to save everyone, and then Mark lives happily ever after with Gemma. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I agree. I like where he was going with the theory, but I don't agree with it in total.
I
So,
mean, fine. You could say like if they didn't have a season three, there
oh
were some elements they could have wrapped up, and you could say sure. But you could say that about like
yeah,
any
exactly.
show, any season. There's characters that are in a season, they don't show up in the next season because they're only
Yep.
booked to do that season, and they're like, we weren't renewed yet. So shows like
Right.
that usually they make them as and that's why if a show gets too many seasons, like Lost, for example,
Right.
where they're like, well, we really only had like 3 to 4 seasons worth of ideas, but you
But
wanted
now we
extra.
gotta have like
So
six. Yeah.
here's some goofy time travel shit.
Mm.
It's like I remember that in Lost with the statue, and you're like, what the fuck? There was like a statue. I guess in regular in the now in Lost there was like a leg, but in the past because they
Oh
have like
yeah.
the full like Anubis, whatever the fuck
Right.
it was,
Yes.
bronze statue. Yeah, that was a big like, oh
That's
my,
funny. I forgot about that.
yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
But it's like, so Severance, honestly, like, yeah, I would not want more than 4 seasons.
Yeah.
I think three is enough, though. I think they
Three
could,
feels good.
I
Yeah.
feel like what they need to do, though, if they did another episode like the fucking Patricia Arquette, whatever, one, it better be more interesting. I wouldn't mind like a
Hmm.
history of Lumen type episode where you
Yeah,
just
it'd be
none of the
good.
characters in it, but you get to kind of understand what was going on and like how it's been around probably a lot longer than you think, or
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that would be good. That would make sense. I would watch that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he's just making content on TikTok. He's
Yeah, yeah,
trying to get people to leave comments. I just don't agree with him 100%. I know what he's saying, but like I've seen that done in like a lot of shows where yeah, I don't know if they got renewed. So they're gonna try to like close out
yeah.
as many things as they can, but like I don't think that would have been a satisfying ending of the show.
No, no. And I also think that like this show is really well planned out. We're gonna have to see what season 3 looks like to make any sort of evaluation of what they were trying to do with season 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I
All right.
watched Daredevil. I watched that last night.
What was it, episode 7?
Yes.
Yeah. There's 2 episodes left.
Right. And I'm of two minds, really. I really liked the episode as I was watching, and I was like, this is a good episode. There's like Daredevil's back, he's fighting, there's a lot of action, there's some interesting things going on in the background. But then I was like, is Muse dead? Was that it? Like that's the
I
end?
mean, in the comics, Muse is like
He has like superpowers.
supposedly he's like an inhuman, and
Right.
then like he goes to hell and does come back, so it's a little bit supernatural.
Okay.
But in theory, maybe something like that does happen because fuck, they introduced this amulet that gave the White Tiger
Yeah.
power. They didn't
Yeah.
really go into it, and then there was that jewel in the episode with the
Right.
robbers and everything. So maybe there is gonna be some supernatural element. It wouldn't shock me if they bring this character back somehow, or maybe they'll find out he's not dead.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I mean that
Kingpin
would
took all the credit. He has his dark police officers, or whatever they go. They call it
right.
the dark blue line or something instead of a thin blue line. It was like the
Yeah,
dark
something
blue
like that.
line.
Yeah.
Um, okay, there's one scene in the episode that I thought was
Mhm.
really bad.
Which one?
It's like when Daredevil goes to Muse's like hideout,
Okay,
and
yeah.
then that cop comes in.
Right, yeah, yeah.
He hits him with the baton or whatever it is he uses. He's like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh shit!" and then he leaves. And then the next scene, the cop's there in like some other scene, and he
Right.
looks like he's fine, and you're just like,
Yeah.
"Did that even
I
happen?"
I thought that was weird just because like I don't know why Daredevil would immediately just chuck a baton at
You
someone.
probably thought it was
Muse? I don't know.
Muse.
Also,
Yeah,
why
it
didn't he
was because Muse wasn't. He was with the
yeah.
therapist.
And why didn't he hear that cop coming up? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I just think that like that scene. I don't know. It seemed like a
mhm.
mistake, and it's like they just
Yeah,
ignored it. I feel like. I feel like if the cop got hit in the head with that, he would have
right.
welt or like I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like a deal breaker, but I thought that was like the weirdest scene. No, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I liked how the Kingpin was able to control the
Yep.
situation. So that guy that's like kind of his like I don't know what they
Enforcer or whatever.
yeah, his name's like Bullet or something.
Yeah.
And in the comics, he is a villain and he's a much bigger character, but he has like this kind of cool suit. I wonder if he's gonna wear it. It,
Yeah.
it, it but I like that he used him to kill the
Oh,
the
the
fucking
other mob
Irish was
boss.
he
Yeah.
Irish or something, the mobster guy?
Yeah.
One that was talking to his wife. Do you think
Right.
she was in on it, or do you think
That's a great question. I don't
like in on it
think
with her
so.
husband to kill him, like to wipe him
Yeah,
out?
I was wondering that too. I don't think so. My guess is that well, that's a good question because right after the guy gets shot, Kingpin says like text my wife and see if she wants me to bring home like dinner for her. And I couldn't tell if that was supposed to mean
Like sarcasm or something? Or
that they're in on it or he was basically telling her like you missed. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, I guess we'll find out.
yeah,
I bet it might be a little bit of both.
could be.
You know, it's like, oh no, oh, it's so
Right.
bad. What happened to you? Are you okay? I'm
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
I like the fucking Tony Soprano's kid, like
Yeah.
the reporter.
That
Listen, you
reporter.
know what? I don't blame him. She fucked him.
She fucked him over bad. Yeah.
I don't care.
Um,
Like you can say he's a piece of shit or whatever, and
he is, but she did do him wrong.
yeah, no,
So,
I think he was 100% right doing
yeah.
that.
I agree. Yeah, I would tend to agree.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sorry, journalists. You guys are like out for
yeah.
you.
Well, I liked this episode a whole bunch. I thought it was real good and action filled. There's only two
That was
episodes
definitely
left.
good.
Yeah,
What?
only two episodes left.
What do you think of his
Uh,
girlfriend?
I don't know. I don't find her to be a compelling character.
She's all
I do
right.
think it's interesting that she's like investigating what's behind the mask and she's like missing what's right in front of her. But
Yeah, well, that's typical. It's like Lois Lane not knowing fucking Superman.
right, right. But it was good. It was good. The girlfriend's just a non-entity for me right now. I want
Yeah,
to see the big battle here is between Kingpin and Daredevil. Muse, I don't know if Muse is done or if
I
that's
wonder
going to
if
be.
Punisher's gonna get involved.
I would think so. I don't know. I don't know. That would also be a little bit of a setup for nothing if he isn't.
Oh, because that
So
scene where he just
yeah,
visits his house and they cry. They do a little
right.
cry up.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it is a good
Good
show.
cry.
I
Good
like
cry,
it.
Frank. Good
This
cry,
is
Matt. Good cry.
Frank Castle. Yeah.
Good
Oh,
cry.
can I be frank with you? Do you have any choice?
What?
Can I be frank with you? Do you have any other choice? Um, yeah. So it was good. It was good. Um, anything else about Daredevil?
What?
Anything else about Daredevil?
I will say I like Cherry. He's okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like these characters were added in and like that one woman that's like he's kind of like
His
strapped.
assistant.
I feel like her character. She's from the comics too. Her character. I think
Okay.
when there's like a series of Daredevil. I never read it, but like he moves to San Francisco supposedly and he ends up like working for her law firm. But you got these new characters, and I just feel like they haven't really fully developed them. I mean,
Yeah.
Cherry, they kind of developed a little bit. I guess he was something in the past. Like,
Right.
wasn't he a cop or something? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, or detective,
Yeah.
private detective,
Yeah.
something
And
like
then the
that.
other one's just, I don't know, she just complains. So it's like,
She does a lot. Yeah.
what can you blame her?
No. No.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean, I'd be fucking furious about her
Yeah.
too, but I'm
Oof.
not Daredevil. No one cares about adventures of Lady at the law firm. They're there to
Right.
watch Daredevil fight.
Saint
Now, if
Ally
she,
McBeal.
if what?
The Saint Ally McBeal.
Well, that was She-Hulk.
Sure.
I don't know. I liked it. The pacing's good. There's two episodes. I feel like I don't know. Who knows? They'll probably like the next episode will be like nothing, and then the last episode
Right.
will kick ass.
Well, we'll
Or
see.
maybe they'll have two kick ass episodes, and that'd be great.
Yeah.
I want none of this padded bullshit. Two good episodes. None
Right.
of this mediocre episode, then a good episode. No, I want two solid episodes.
Yeah.
I want Punisher to show up. I want to see Spider-Man stop by and say hi.
That'd be awesome.
Hi, runs away.
Yeah.
I want Doctor Doom to show up.
Right. Well, I
I
don't know that
want
we'll see all that, but we
Thanos to
are
come back. The
but we are
Daredevil.
getting a new episode next week. So
What?
I said I don't know about all that, but we are getting a new episode next
I
week.
do believe though that released that they released two last week because they knew they were gonna get shit because he didn't show up in the fifth
Yeah.
episode. The bank
And this was a
robbery
good
one.
sequence to have the two last week, and then this week was pretty Daredevil centric. So it was a good decision, I think.
Yeah, no, I like. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Like I said, the first couple episodes were like the White Castle.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his name? What's his name? White. What?
White Castle, right?
No, the character, the
Oh,
White Tiger,
yes, right.
White Castle. It's like they're the burger place. You like White Castles? You like those when you were a kid? They're weird.
By the time I was like eating fast food, they didn't have them in Florida. We had moved down to Florida
Yeah, they're
by
like a
that
New
time.
York thing.
Yeah, and what was the other one? White Castle, and who's Crystal was like the southern version of that eventually.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah, they're basically the same principle. They meat paste on a bun.
did. Meat paste. It's not even a burger. It doesn't even get classified as meat at that point.
Yeah.
It's like
So
we just threw some cardboard and steamed it.
yeah, I don't know if Crystal's
Softened
still
cardboard
around.
for you to eat.
Yeah, but Crystal was
Cardboard
like,
and mealworms
uh,
compacted into a mulch, reformed into
yuck, a
little
slurry,
square patties
a
that taste
pink,
like cardboard.
a pink slurry of sorts.
Uh, it's definitely
Yeah,
made from slurry. That's for damn sure. I always like again McDonald's when they bring back the McRib and like they'll explain like
Yeah.
why it only comes out and it's like because it can only get the pork slurry at a certain time. And I'm like, you gotta stop saying slurry. Slurry.
Gotta,
I don't care what anyone says.
they bring that in
Slurry
big
sounds
tanker
fucking
trucks.
gross. What?
Yeah, they bring that in big tanker trucks. The
Yeah, that
slurry.
sounds nasty. What would you like to have for lunch, Dad? Kids?
Uh,
Slurry. Are
yuck.
you sure? It's like the mascot, his name like I don't know, Slurry Sal. And he's just like a puddle leaking out of a bucket.
Yuck.
Like there's like two eyeballs that kind of flow down the top of the bucket.
Right,
He's
right.
constantly just shitting out slurry over the
Yuck.
limb, and he's like, "Hello, kids, it's me, Slurry Sal."
Uh,
Like
oof.
gives Tom Carvel a run for his money.
Yuck.
Remember Tom Carvel?
I do, yeah. Cookie Puss,
Those
right?
commercials.
Yeah.
You get your dad a cookie puss. Go get your dad a fudgy the world. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Daredevil's great. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
And they're working on season 2, which means it'll come out in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
They already been working on it. I think they already started filming it. I think it's actually going to come out next year.
Good.
They
Good.
better. I don't want his bullshit, 2-year bullshit like they did with
Yeah.
Loki. Nope.
That's a lot.
It'll be out next year.
Mm-hmm.
No reason. They used to make TV shows every fucking year.
Oh, yeah. Like 26 episodes
Yeah.
a year.
Get back on that shit. You can't make 9 to 10 Daredevil episodes every like
Yeah.
year? What the
Yeah.
fuck, dude? Keep that guy alive. Keep that guy fuck. He's only gonna be able to look like Daredevil for like another 10
Right.
years until he starts looking weird. They took like 8 years to make season.
Yeah. I've always, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
Last thing to talk about. Is this technically Daredevil season 4, but it's not. They call it Daredevil Born Again.
Yes.
And I remember the creators of Daredevil, the first seasons
Hmm.
on Netflix. And I don't know if it was like the head guys. I mean, he came out because they weren't hired or something like that.
Oh,
He
okay.
just said straight up, he's like, this is a typical practice that Disney fucking does.
I remember this. Yeah.
Where it's serially season 4, but no, it's season 1, and that's how they get away with contracts and screwing people over
Hmm.
royalties. It's like why there was like 100 Zack and Cody shows
Right. Yeah.
that are just like Zack and Cody. That's it.
Yeah. That's disappointing.
Poor Zack and
Mm.
Cody. All they could afford was that White Castle burgers.
Yeah. Oh, Crystal burgers.
Chris, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
All right.
all right.
Those elections yesterday.
Yeah. There were
What about them?
three big elections. There's one in Florida's first, one in the sixth, and then a Wisconsin Supreme Court. And the Democrats lost both races in Florida, but they lost them by a much less significant margin than they lost in the presidential election. So a lot of Democrats are trying to spin that as good news. I don't think it's like terrible news, but they did both lose the seat, which is bad. The other one though came yeah, I'm just losing my trach here place here with all these things. The other one was in Wisconsin, and that was
That's the big one.
Yeah, that was the big one. That was one Elon Musk put a bunch of money in, and the Democrat won that pretty handily by like 10 percentage points, and they thought it was going to be a nail biter. And I guess the most important thing about that is that they're going to redistrict Wisconsin this year, and the Supreme Court approves it. And the Republicans are saying that if the court is liberal as they're doing that, no matter who's doing that, it's going to favor progressives, which I'm real happy with. But that's why they're very concerned. So we'll see. That was a big win. The Wisconsin one was a big win.
No, it was a big deal. It was fun to watch Elon Musk lose. I mean, again, what do you waste? Like $20 million?
Yeah.
I mean, 20 million is like us spending like $100.
Yeah.
Not even like 20.
No, I agree. But like he put a lot of his
again though, not all his money's liquid. Everyone needs to remember that.
But he put his like name into this, and his name's pretty toxic right now.
I mean, again, it's like he's the cover for Trump. These idiots that voted for Trump will probably still support Trump because Trump will say, You see, I didn't really care for what Elon was doing,
Yeah.
Elon, you get to do
You
whatever you
got to tie them
want.
together at the hip. That picture
What?
of like you got to tie those two together at the hip, Trump and
Yeah.
Musk. Um, and I think that's the way forward for that.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, fuck, dude. If Trump's president, why did he let him fire all those people?
yeah, you didn't have a
Elon's
meeting
not even
about it.
he's not a government official. He's a fucking outside consultant.
Yeah,
The
it is
fucking,
crazy. It is crazy. It's a big deal.
it's a big deal
So
that the
many
Dems
people.
won,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's a big deal that they won in Wisconsin. I wish they had won in Florida, obviously, but like they performed real well in those districts, So if they run a candidate that may be a little better for that district, I don't know if these candidates were good fits for those districts, but it's good news for the most part, apart from having lost the two races.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
um,
mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just, it was nice news to finally.
yeah,
I just feel like, again, it's like, like the world's healing. I just think, again, it makes no sense that this fucking guy got back in the White House. I think that's totally
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
Like,
That is
we could
remarkable.
blame like Kamala for doing whatever, but this guy should not have won. This
No,
guy should not have been allowed to be able to run.
right. That's the
He
thing.
is like 100 times worse than he was in his first term right now. I don't think
Yeah.
people realize how much damage they have done in just like 2 months.
Oh, it's crazy. Like you
They're
don't.
like,
I don't
they're
know if we'll
literally changing the
recover.
shape of this country in the
Well, but
worst way.
it's a twofold danger because like you have RFK firing like our best scientists.
That's insane. That's
Or
fucking
yeah.
insane.
And so even if like an adult takes over the White House in 3 years,
The damage will already be done.
it'll already be done. We'll be way behind and
It'll be
everything.
like 20 years of damage done in fucking
We'll
four
have
years.
to teach new people how to do, and who's going to want to come to the government when like for all you know the next election.
Yeah, fucking Trump's kid or
Yeah,
something. Because people don't learn.
and that's it. I
Did you
mean,
see Trump throwing out the whole like how he's gonna get in a third term? He's gonna
no, what is it something to do with it being consecutive or something?
well, JD Vance would run
Lord.
and then JD Vance would resign,
Oh, resign.
give him the presidency. Which first of all, let's say Trump runs as JD Vance's vice president.
Yeah,
He can't be president. It doesn't matter. He served
right.
2 terms. I don't think he can
Well, I
even
think
I
he
don't
could
think he can
still.
finish out. I don't know how it works. Would his vice president, would Trump be able to finish out JD Vance's term?
Yeah, I think so.
So fucking idiotic.
It is. Yeah,
Like, dude, you know what? Your fucking approval rating is like cratering. Like, you're not getting elected a third time,
no.
dude. Like, the only reason why you got in this time, the only excuse I could think of is that people have the fucking brains, the memory of a fly.
Yeah,
They they forgot that you did January 6th. Like, if you ran after January 6th, you would have lost in a fucking
yeah,
landslide. But
yeah,
people are dumb, dude.
yeah. I tend to agree.
I think people are fucking stupid. I think they really are. There's a lot of dumb fucking people out there. Like,
Yeah,
you watched a Joe Rogan podcast and you were convinced that Trump should be president. That's
yeah.
insane.
That is weird. Yeah.
Guy was on stage talking about Arnold Palmer's cock at a presidential rally. It's weird. Like,
It's weird on a good day. Yeah.
it's weird on a good day, but a guy running for president, any person running for president, shouldn't be talking about the large member of a fucking former
Right.
golfer. That's a weird thing for a president to be talking
It
about.
is.
It's a little
It
odd.
is. Uh,
It's a strange thing. Yeah, I think that's just stupid. I think that like reporters need to like stop taking the bait on bullshit
yes,
news
I
like that. It's
agree.
like, first of all, I like to think like he'll be dead, but also I believe that he'll live forever
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
evil. Evil lives forever. Evil never dies,
Never sleeps.
despite what those people in that Halloween movie said when they said,
That's
"Evil
true.
dies
Yeah.
tonight. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies
Uh,
tonight." Oh my God, that movie sucked.
yeah. Yeah, not the best.
The first remake that came out before that was okay, but the second one was garbage.
I don't know if I saw the second one.
And the third one was like okay. It had like a
Mm.
guy who kind of becomes the next Mike Myers in a way, but
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Michael Myers, not Mike Myers. The SNL
The
guy.
hell. Yeah.
Shwing.
Woof. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think there's plenty of aircraft to take people, uh, back and forth from Wisconsin or Florida. Um. I don't know where Musk is going with all this.
What are you talking about?
The election stuff.
He's claiming that the election was stolen.
Well, he has not. I'll tell you the one thing that was weird is the guy he backed, the one in Wisconsin. He was at a rally where he conceded, and a lot of the people in his crowd were like, "They stole it," blah blah. And he's like, he could just see him like shake his head. He's like, "No, they didn't." It was
Yeah, they
a
lost in a fucking landslide.
yeah, but it was
Didn't
a
like every
rare.
district? Didn't like it? I thought I saw blue checks across the whole state. Did that mean that like every district in Wisconsin like fucking voted
No,
for?
it means I think if it's the same picture I think you're talking about, it meant that every single district shifted blue. Some of
Yeah,
them still went red, but like they all shifted blue. Every single one of them shifted blue. And that's true in Florida too. All those districts, even though the Democrats lost, they all shifted blue a little bit, which
yeah.
doesn't do any good in Florida, but it probably will do well in Georgia. Florida's just real different. Like unless you
Florida's a
live
lost
there,
cause. I really do believe that. I think Dems like they be better. What they would be better off doing is running Democrats in Florida as independents
yeah,
that will caucus with the Dems.
yeah, I think
Like Bernie
so.
Sanders is technically an independent. He caucuses
Yep,
with the Dems.
yeah, and there's some like
And there's another one too that caucuses with the Dems too.
yeah,
Another,
Jim Leahy maybe.
maybe.
I don't know, but there's some too that aren't like we'll call them Democrats, but they're not really Democrats. I don't want to say Amy Klobuchar is one, but like some famous ones out of the Midwest are like independent farmers workers or something. They
Uh,
have like a weird name.
yeah, even like out in New York has like the Labor Party, but it
Yes,
always caucuses with like the Democrats. I remember like AOC was saying people like vote for this, but make sure
yeah,
you're voting under the Labor Party when you vote because it'll make your
yeah,
voice more heard. But like, um, yeah, I always found I remember going in the voting booth with my dad when I was younger. It was like the switches. I don't know if you remember that.
yeah,
It was like a big curtain. It was like these little
yeah.
switches.
I
Yeah.
remember.
And like I just remember like I was like, what the fuck's the Labor Party? Because I knew what a Democrat was and Republican.
Right,
Basically just I don't know, it's like the same shit. It's still because their candidate was still Bill
right.
Clinton or whatever the fuck it was at the time.
Well, I think yeah, I think that you're probably smart about the Florida Democrats just being independent.
I would just
Florida
Yeah, I
Florida's
just
just
wouldn't sink
got
any money into that state. I don't know. I mean, people should run, but if they're gonna run, they should concentrate on like small stuff first.
yeah,
Build up, get a state senator, get a fucking take over a fucking school board, fucking like
that's what they should do. They should
you gotta start from the bottom again in Florida. You're not getting a fucking governor. You're not getting a fucking like that state's too fucked. Like
yeah. No, they need to
it's like a
start.
fucking it's like a 10 to 20 year project, unfortunately. It's not gonna
Well, they just haven't invested in it. But and like I said, Florida's weird. Like Florida's a lot of retirees, a lot of people that don't have any vested interest in things like schools or anything like that.
yeah.
A lot of them don't want to, they left where they're from so they could remake this, you know, paradise in Florida. And it's all designed to protect like boomer wealth, you know. It is. I mean,
Right.
it's all designed to protect that. None of it is looking for the future, none of it's building infrastructure unless it's a golf course. It's just a whole bunch of decisions being made to satisfy wealthy boomers who have settled down there, you know. And if it doesn't offer them anything, they don't want to hear about it. So
Yeah, I don't, but I think it's more than that. I think like the state has just got their brain fried. The
yeah,
fact that they keep voting for people like uh Rick.
Rick Scott, yeah, it is. I don't know what to say about it
I just
all.
think I can't believe someone that unlikable has been reelected so many times in Florida.
Yeah,
I'm almost like, is there even a fair election in Florida?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't feel like it. I mean,
Because like you see someone like Rick Scott, fuck, you see someone like fucking DeSantis. I mean,
but a lot of them like that shit. You know, I mean, like,
yeah,
I
but
will
Rick
say
Scott's
this
like so
too, like
creepy.
Florida for the most part does well. You know, I mean, it's been a destination place for a little while. People want to live there, people want to vacation there. So they have this built-in sense of like things will work out because they typically have. I don't know how they're gonna fare with a hurricane and there being no FEMA. We'll see that. But
So FEMA's gone.
from what I understand, it's gutted. There's like it's got like 20 employees left or
It's
something.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
What a fucking. I wish people would wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
Not going to. They're never gonna learn. Some will, but
Um,
they won't. They'll never learn.
yeah, the thing is you don't the way things are, you don't need a lot to learn, you know?
They don't,
So
but you're asking a lot.
yeah.
These are the
Eh,
people that say do your own research.
yeah, that's true. Well, it's also a lot of the people that will be like, well, you gotta vote, MAGA or whatever. And if you ask them why, they'll like not really be able to articulate it other than, well, you can't vote Democrat. So um yeah.
It's like King of the Hill episode when he meets George Bush and he shakes his hand. He's like, "Oh
Yeah,
man, I can't vote for a man who has a soft handshake like that, but I can't vote
yeah,
for the other guys either. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do."
right.
All right, let's talk about tariffs. Supposedly, did this go into effect yet today or something?
It
I heard
went
that.
into effect today and they're brutal.
So it wouldn't affect the stocks earlier.
It didn't affect them today, but from what I understand, they all tanked overnight. Like once the markets closed, markets open elsewhere. It went poorly. Uh, he put a tariff on everyone except Russia. It was just kind of kind of funny. But the thing is,
So fucking blatant.
he put like a huge like a 40% tariff on like um Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam, a lot of places where they make textiles and shit. The iPhone gets made there and stuff. So like pretty quickly we're going to see huge jumps in prices. Um, the other thing people were saying, I saw this on the news site, is that like natural enemies like Singapore, China, and South Korea, and like people that normally don't get along are now working together against the US, working together to prevent the US from harming them. Um, I don't know. To me, like, look, I'm like certainly not an economist, but I know a little something about economics and whatnot. This just sounds like a horrible, disastrous idea. And Trump's whole best case scenario is it'll suck for a couple weeks and then it will get better. But like a lot of people don't have weeks to deal with this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't have a long runway. They're not like Trump who can rely on his $1 million checking account, I mean, most people don't have money in the checking account. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Right? I think like probably 75% of America is like that.
Well, everybody had a fucking chance to make sure this didn't happen, and they
Yeah.
fucking fell for bullshit. I heard like fucking Joe Rogan like criticizing Trump. I'm like, fuck you, Rogan.
Yeah.
You're fucked, dude. You fucked yourself. You tied yourself to these bastards. You
Yep.
gave them fucking
100%.
you gave them hours of fucking airtime, sucking the balls of multiple billionaires. Yeah, it's easy for you now to be like, "Oh, I don't agree with Trump here." Yeah, because you fucking got him elected. You got your audience to vote for him. And now
Yeah.
you get to pretend that you're
You
not
have like, yeah.
connected to him. No, you don't get
Well,
to you don't get to save your face and try to act like you're some like independent thinker. Yeah, they always say it too. They'll do that
yeah.
shit where it's like they get to say like one or two critical things, and it's just there to like. So when somebody says that he's a fucking propagandist, he'll be like, "Well, actually, Trump,
Right.
he said this and that." Yeah, fuck that shit.
Well, the tariffs went into effect. My guess is that we'll see a huge spike in some prices soon. And I
It's
think
gonna
it'll
be
be
mostly supermarkets.
supermarkets. They say a lot of electronics too are going to be really hard to hit. Um, and like a weird little offshoot of this. I think the one thing Trump didn't plan on, one of the things Trump didn't plan on is how this kind of behavior will make everyone else against us. You know what I mean? I
I seriously think this is where I fall into that conspiracy. Like he is working with a foreign adversary. There's no reason for half this shit to be happening. If it
yeah,
is all to destroy the country from the inside. Having Robert Kennedy go out, we're gonna pause fucking medical research.
right.
Like, why? What is there to gain by doing that? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Do you know why he would do that? Like, is there like a one piece of logic, like what his angle is, or is it just
No,
like,
it's
we're
weird,
gonna destroy the fucking vaccines and shit, like
Yeah.
cancer research. I mean,
I think Robert Downey Jr. I think RFK
I would
is
prefer Robert Downey Jr.
I think RFK is like sincere in what his beliefs are. I think they're just insane. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's like, I'm gonna steal this chocolate and make it support my research. I think she
Yeah, he's a
uh
nut that should not be in power.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
Um
I believe that, but I also think he's like a useful idiot, and he's been on the take from Rush for years also. Like his
yeah,
politics changed on a dime not too long ago. They were never he was always like
right.
fucking blue as fuck. And then I don't know, during the first term of Trump, there was a lot of weirdness coming out about
Yeah,
him.
there was.
Yeah, that guy's
Wow.
gross.
Wow.
Fucking
Yeah.
gross. Like he looks like his voice.
He does. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Um
say I'm handsome?
well, anyway, we'll see what happens with the stock. I'm anticipating a really bad day tomorrow, and a lot of my stocks go down significantly. Um, hopefully they'll rebound soon, But I think we're in for a sustained period of like economic uncertainty,
Yeah,
which is not great.
we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All
I
right.
don't
So what
know.
what do we
Hold
got? What's our
on.
next
Mike Waltz guy. I don't know.
oh
You brought
yeah.
him up.
Yeah, he was the guy that got in trouble last time, last week for using Signal on war plans, and he said he didn't know, and then he got hacked. And apparently, this guy has like 20 different group chats going with world leaders specifically to talk about top secret invasion kind of stuff. Just really bizarre. I mean, like, I guess it's more of an oddity than a truly interesting story that's relevant, but I don't know.
I think they're gonna start wars, which is
Well,
crazy because they were supposed to be the peace. Remember that they
yeah.
pushed that bullshit that Trump was the peace candidate, even though he dropped tons of bombs and drones everywhere. He
Well,
did
they
way more
say
than
they've made
Obama.
like war plans against Iran. Um,
That shit's been going on since
yeah,
for decades. I mean, the funny thing is, if if they plan on going into Iran, well, there's a reason why Marco Rubio got put in that position
yeah,
because he's part of that neocon shit.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I
Let
mean,
me
I could
tell you, if
see
we went
it.
against Iran's like a real fucking country with a military.
Oh
They're ready
yeah,
for us. I mean, can we wipe them out?
yeah. I mean, I think so, but
Yes.
like at what cost?
Yeah, at what cost? And it's there. They even said that. I remember during the Iraq War. I remember hearing all this shit about when they were talking about, um, we were in the middle of like the Iraq War. It's like 2004 when I was working at like NBC. I remember talking to this guy about it. And he said his brother worked for the military and does like war planning. I'm like, what the hell? And he tell me he's like they literally like they'll
Yeah,
use satellites like, can we drive tanks here? Like shit like that.
right.
And he said that they were already planning for Iran, and
Mm.
they even knew that like on day one they would lose like
A lot of
thousands and
people. Yeah,
thousands of American soldiers because Iraq was in shambles when we invaded them.
yeah,
It was like throwing like there was some developed areas. I remember Michael Moore showed like the day before, like one of the big cities in Iraq.
right. But it was
You
largely,
would have
yeah,
thought it was like a city in the United States. Like there was cafes and shit, and people were like, it looked like a fucking, and then it was completely leveled. We completely destroyed it. And then,
mm.
but Iran is more developed. Iran, um, they got a more developed military.
Hmm.
It's not going to be it'll be bad.
Mm.
It'll be really fucking bad. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Again, I just find it ironic though, like when they were running, like, oh, he was the peace president. I'm like,
Well.
He's a Republican. Republicans are not known for being peaceful. Like
And the problem is like
they're
the
chicken hawks.
president can only do so much. They hire people that help make these decisions, and he's had horrible instincts with hiring. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know what else is there to say about is Mike Watts? Is he the guy who was on that original thing with the
Waltz, yeah, Mike Waltz. Coincidentally, Mike Waltz
Mike
left his
Waltz's failure brother of Tim Walz?
he left his seat, which is why they had a special election in Florida the other day. But then he rolls up and he's like a real high up person on the the advisors, presidential advisory committee on defense or whatever. And he has like multiple signal chats going with different world leaders. I guess he conducts a lot of his business on his personal Gmail account. Just a baffling number of problems.
I'm saying incompetent
But none of
jackasses.
them involve buttery males. So
Well, that was always like the big joke too. Even like in the first Trump administration, when there was all that news about this
yes.
server, their emails, but like then you find out everybody in the Trump administration weren't even using government
No.
uh email accounts. It's like it's a shit. It's just it doesn't matter. It's a game. It's a game.
Yeah.
They won, you lose. It's like it's how you. That's how they play their game, and
Yeah.
you can't be in fucking defense all the time. You have to be an offense. You need to like throw the crazy back at them, and then do the normal stuff. And I always felt like Tim Waltz nailed it with they're weird and like,
Yeah. No, that was the perfect line.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, Democrat.
unfortunately,
Oh, you have to stop saying that.
yeah.
Why? Why
They
the fuck would
unfortunately
you
didn't
stop saying
capitalize
that?
on it.
What's your reason? Because you want to lose?
Mm.
Because clearly you got your fucking wish.
Yeah. It was not a good idea.
Yeah. All right. El Salvador
Yeah.
camps. What about this one?
This honestly, this is like I think this is the worst story in my estimation.
Oh, this is
Um
horrible.
there's a lot of really bad ones, but like okay, like people losing their job happens in America. The way it's going on, but like what I'm thinking about, like in my head about like how angry am I about all this stuff? People lose their jobs. Government resizes and changes and shit like that. And again, I'm really against that, but that happens. The Robert F. Kennedy stuff I can't tolerate because it's but this story is like uniquely bad because the first of all, Trump is paying over like $1 million per person to intentionally send them to the shittiest prison that we have access to.
That's insane, man. Like this is what I always love about like they always say like Democrats are bad with money. It's like, what are you fucking
Yeah.
talking about? Republicans drain us. Like,
None of this makes any sense money wise. Um, and this place, I'm sure you've seen photos of it. It looks like hell, like what hell would look like.
the El Salvador prison or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's just awful. You look in the cells, they've got like 70 people crammed in a little
They
cell.
sent some guy who has an autistic kid and he had a tattoo
Yep,
of puzzle pieces, which is a known
yep.
symbol of autism.
Autism awareness. Yeah.
Yeah, autism awareness. And they got fucking like it's insane, man. People's lives have been completely fucking destroyed. This country's nuts, man. Well, I don't know if we're gonna fucking
Well,
survive.
here's where I'm like connecting the dots, which gets scary. This guy, so first of all, they collected up a bunch of criminals, people that legitimately did commit crimes, and they shipped them to El Salvador,
Yeah.
which if they were from El Salvador, I guess, I mean, I have a problem like in an abstract human rights sense, but like I'm not going to argue that point too much. You
Yeah.
know, if you are from El Salvador, you came here not legally, you committed a bunch of crimes, and we send you back to El Salvador, and it's not the hill I'm going to die on. But then there were some others where it was like Venezuelans and Costa Rica, they were getting sent there too. And at that point, you're like, well, why are we doing that? Like, why don't we just chuck them back to where they're from or whatever? And then you get to the point where it was like, now these people aren't in El Salvador, but like legal residents or people on legal visas were getting, plainclothes cops pull up in a van and take them right off the street. Just like
Yeah.
you see in the movies of like pre-Revolutionary War Iran. And then tonight, before we got on the air, I saw a story. I think it was in Carrollton,
We're
Texas.
on the air?
Yeah, before we went on the air tonight.
I'm just joking.
Uh,
This is like we're on like the radio or
oh
something.
yeah. Some guy in Carrollton posted a few things calling Christy Nolm a Nazi, and
Oh, she is a fuck. That video of her standing outside of like
yeah,
the fucking jailed up people. That's
but
some
then
fucking Nazi shit right
it's
there.
gross. And
So
then,
gross.
but he got arrested as an American citizen, got arrested for calling Christy Nolm a Nazi and saying that he said, if ICE agents come in my neighborhood, I'm going to fire on them, something like that, which is inadvisable. You can't say shit like that. But it was like I don't know if they've ever been on a Facebook group in Idaho, but like they talk about shooting people all the time. I mean, they talk. I mean, like that's you can't tell me that this is the one guy who said something violent on Facebook. The next thing you know, he's in shackles and stuff. You know, and so anyway, I'm bringing it back to the El Salvador thing. Like, you wonder if this guy, born in the United States, American citizen, is going to wind up in Guantanamo for some weird reason. You know. It's just real weird times. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And we're not going to get any relief, for another year and a half. I mean, really. I mean, like the Democrats can't do anything, and the Republicans won't do anything. It's just this is all going to keep happening. Now, I will say, um, today, 4 Republicans joined the Democrats to block like these extra tariffs on Canada. So,
Well, I mean, first of all, these tariffs are all horrible, but like the Canada ones, and Mexico are stupid. There should be
just
no.
makes no sense.
Just gonna hurt everybody, and
Yeah.
honestly, it hurts the Americans more than it hurts. It doesn't even hurt Canada. And if anything, they just probably find it annoying. But
Yeah, I think
given the cost
look,
on us,
it's just so easy. Like Canada sells us a lot of lumber. It's super easy to just throw it on a truck and drive it over the border and make money that way. Now, if
yeah,
they're going to sell lumber, they got to ship it somewhere, and maybe not all these other places need lumber, and it's going to be very hurtful to them. But the thing is, like, I saw this, and I never thought about it this way. Some woman on TV tonight was saying, like, if Trump had just put these tariffs on 3 countries, he would have won. Those 3 countries would have capitulated.
which
But
country?
she said random 3 countries. Like, let's say he said, you know what, I'm going to tax Germany. The EU might have like, or we're grumpy about this, but they would have went along with it. You know what I mean? But like he didn't do that. He put tariffs on everyone on the planet. So now all these other people are working together. They never had any interest in working together, but now they do. They're forming trade partnerships. They're freely trading amongst themselves. They're doing all
Good
sorts of
job, Trump.
things. Yeah, and we're the odd person out.
Yeah,
We're a big powerhouse, but we're only like 15% of the world. I mean, like we're probably bigger than any one other person, but now we're not fighting one other person. We're fighting every person. So,
again, I just say he's a fucking agent for like Russia. It does nothing make sense. I
no.
mean, I'm sure that, well, isn't the tariff thing, which basically we end up paying on our end, isn't that like the little sneaky thing about it is to cover also the huge tax cuts he wants to put through? Because then he could say, like, oh, we have money coming in for my tariffs.
Yeah,
And I'm going to put in, and then we could work on infrastructure or some bullshit, which is a lie.
right.
They won't do
Yeah.
it.
That's the thing, is that like I think no one's really keeping track of the money, because we spent, like, if you paid taxes, which you did
Yeah.
over the past couple of years, all that money went to public health programs, all that money went to national park program, all that money you chipped in was designated. But now where's that money? Like, if you got rid of everyone in the parks, what happened to that money?
Right.
I mean, are you paying down the debt? Do you have like receipts showing you paid down the national debt? or because otherwise, like, what am I paying? What are my tax dollars going towards? If you've gotten rid of government, what am I paying for? You know?
People are too stupid to realize that. There's always all these dumbasses who are like, government should pay for healthcare. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
You're paying money already, dumbass. These people don't realize like you're paying taxes and you're
Yeah,
like asking the government to do anything with the money I gave them is communism.
yeah,
No, that's not how it works. That's not it. You're being conned by the oldest
right.
trick in the book by the Republicans and some
Yeah,
Democrats too, but mostly Republicans. That's the one thing I always hate when they lump Democrats with Republicans because you could say, sure, these 20 and 30 Democrats suck ass.
yeah,
But these 200, whatever,
right, right,
these fucking thousand Republicans, or I don't know what it is, suck even more ass. Like,
right,
there's no space where there's like the Republicans don't suck ass.
right. Well,
Unless,
and they will vote against their own interests. Like
yeah, I don't
all
know.
those, even the rich, wealthy ones, all those senators in like Nebraska or Iowa or whatever, they know they need immigrant labor.
Oh,
They
that's the
know
other thing
that,
that's so stupid
you
about this
know?
whole thing. It's like, no, go after the company, the people in charge of the companies.
Yeah,
Find the shit out of them for using, find the living
yeah,
shit out of them for using this form of labor while not
yeah.
providing, I don't know. I'm gonna say
Well,
right
I
now
mean,
providing like, jobs or something. In the town. Wait, I don't know. I have like I lost my train of thought.
yeah, I don't, it's just, it
Oh, that's it.
is,
Yeah, yeah. Like you you said like they're constantly cutting funding or whatever and the
yeah,
taxes. I was saying like, it's like a company that like Walmart's a good example. They have this thing where I think the money that gets made just gets sent to like Arkansas. It doesn't get like your town
right,
will not
yeah.
really gratefully benefit for it.
No, no, yeah, that is the case. I know we got like sidetracked talking about the El Salvador thing, but the this worries me probably more than anything.
Well, it's scary because that means they'll go after like protesters and
Yeah,
anybody they
they
feel like. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
um,
we could all be
yeah.
under threat because of this. Like
Well,
me and you talking on this podcast, like,
yeah. That probably is honestly like anybody who's ever said anything negative about Trump on social media is not going to get hired in a government job.
yeah, probably not. No,
You know, I mean, it's
just
just
wants all
the
loyalists in there.
yeah. Marco
The only
Rubio has
reason why they
already
fired people.
anybody who has spoken out against Trump and wants to visit the US is probably going to have a little trouble. I was
Yeah,
on the Brian Jonestown massacre Reddit the other day. Uh
like
and
shit.
they're coming here. They're coming here to Dallas. I want to go see them. And this guy
Oh, I
is
thought that was
saying,
like a actual historical thing.
"Oh no, no, it's Brian Jones, the drummer from Rolling Stones and the Jonestown Massacre. They named the band the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
Wait, I thought that
Uh
guy died.
he
The
did,
Rolling
yeah.
Stones drummer.
He did, yeah. And so
Oh,
did everyone at Jonestown.
oh,
Um,
like in the actual Jonestown.
yeah, the Kool-Aid.
Oh, dude, have you watched this show, The Studio yet?
I did. I thought it was good, but I
We didn't
didn't think
talk
it was
about that.
like,
Let's just talk about that in the end because
all right,
you just brought up the Kool-Aid thing. So the plot of the show, there was two episodes they dropped.
yes,
Bryan Cranston's great in it.
yeah,
A lot of guests in this. It kind of
it
moves a little bit
is.
like reminds me a little bit of Veep. This is the way it moves, like or an old like Robert Altman film from like
I
the
was,
70s.
yes, more like a Robert Altman film. I was gonna say, like, and look, I understand this is not what the show is at all, but it felt kind of like an entourage type of vibe for some of
There
it
is
to
still
me.
a little bit, but it's not like
Yeah,
that at all.
no,
Dude,
no,
him in the
it's
second
different show.
episode where he like just keeps fucking up the woman's set.
Yeah, yeah,
That was so good. So the plot of the movie, they're making fun of the joke of like the studio is offered Kool-Aid, the movie. Because like
yes,
making fun of like, hey, Barbie did so well. Why can't Kool-Aid do well?
right,
Remember the TikTok, the shitty
yeah,
TikTok of him dancing, and like Brian
yeah.
Cranston's like, this is great. I love that he was like ready to go into the meeting and talk about Martin Scorsese. It's Martin Scorsese's last movie too, where
Right.
it's about So he was pitching him like a Kool-Aid movie, but it's the Jonestown. Is it called the Jonestown Massacre? What was
Yeah,
it?
The Jonestown Massacre was the one in Guyana with
And
Jim
what's his name
Jones.
again?
Jim Jones was
Jim
the
Jones.
yeah.
The whole joke over the years was that like he had them all drink the Kool-Aid. That's why if you ever hear the term like,
Yeah,
"Oh, he drank the Kool-Aid," she drank the Kool-Aid, they all drink the Kool-Aid. It's like you got brainwashed basically. I mean,
right.
it's the
You're
term.
so yeah, you will wind up killing yourself because of all this misinformation that you're willingly consuming. Yeah.
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 But the plot of the show is like, he started Martin Scorsese,
Hmm.
and he's like, he gets Martin Scorsese to get on the whole Jim Jones, but it's a Kool-Aid movie. I love that later you find out it was supposed to be Martin Scorsese's like last movie.
Right, right.
And I guess he bought the script from him, so he couldn't even shop the script out. That was it.
Right, right.
Like Bryan Cranston's character finds out they were like Martin Scorsese's making a movie about Kool-Aid or something and he's like, we can't have that out there. And so
Yeah,
Seth Rogen's character had to like put the kibosh, and they basically the studio owns the script so that it can never be made.
yeah. It was
It's good. I enjoy it.
it is good. It wasn't what I was expecting. It feels better than what I was expecting.
I,
It reminds, yeah, the Robert, I hadn't thought of that before, but it does feel in a lot of ways like a Robert Altman
yeah,
production.
yeah. Oh, it's
Um,
not. It's so much smarter than fucking Entourage.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I just meant like it had that, I guess,
I can see what you mean. Him and his friend.
yeah, well, like the culture of like Hollywood and, um, I don't know. Seth Rogen's really good.
Yeah, they
Uh,
bring back what's his face? I guess he was supposed to be like she was like his mentor or something. Schitt's Creek and all that.
yeah,
He's gonna be in something else too, that woman. Like some horror show or movie.
what's her real name? It's not Moira Rose, I know.
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. Um,
Beetlejuice too.
yeah, she's great. Catherine, is it Catherine?
Catherine O'Hara.
Yes. Yeah, she's always good. Um,
Dude, you ever see that
Moira
episode with
Rose.
her where her on Curb Your Enthusiasm? Oh my God.
Uh,
Okay, so she's only in one episode, but like you find out she's like they're at this friends of theirs.
uh,
And she's like the sister of the friend or whatever, and she just got to have a mental institution. And the voice she gives her character is like insane. I mean, like it's so fucking funny. And then like that guy who was on the Goldbergs, who's like Larry David's manager. There's a scene where he's fucking her,
yeah,
which is insane that he would have sex with this woman because
that's
she's
funny. Yeah.
nuts. And she's just like, "Fuck me, fat boy."
She's gonna be in The Last of Us, season 2 of The
That's it.
Last of
That's it.
Us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. She's in the last of it. Was she not in season one? No, I guess not.
I
She's
don't
like a
remember her at all
looks like
from
a
season 1.
therapist or something in this one. I don't know. Yeah, good
Yeah,
for her. She's great.
yeah, she is good.
I mean,
She's
she's
been
71, which is nuts. But
that is
I mean,
crazy.
again, no, she's been around for a very long time. I mean,
Yeah,
all those people, I bet you Eugene Levy's in his 70s. I mean, all these people from like SCTV and like SNL, the early years, they're all
SCTV came out in 1976. I remember seeing that
there's
as a
one
little
year.
kid.
Eugene Levy's 78. He looks great. I would think he
Wow.
was close to 80.
How old was Joe Flaherty when he died?
I bet he was
He
like a
was,
little younger.
yeah, he was real good in uh Freaks and Geeks.
See, he was born 41. He died in 2024. I guess no, wouldn't that make him like over 80?
Yeah, I was wondering if he might have been old, like an
80,
older.
he was like 83. I always felt bad for him because like he got that role on fucking Freaks and Geeks.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
man, that was such a good he was 82 when he died. That was such a
Okay.
good get. Like
It
if
was.
that show lasted, man, his career would have just like he would have been in so much shit because of that. I always felt
Yeah.
like he was like I mean no, he wasn't in I think he's in those movies. The one with the guys who drink beer with Rick Moranis and that other
Oh,
guy.
was he in the Bob and Doug movie?
He might have like a small part. He's Count Floyd. I love that he was Count
Yeah.
Floyd in Freaks and Geeks. He
Yeah.
was dressed up as like a
That's
Dracula.
right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But
Count
like
Floyd.
low budget Dracula.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. I remember when they casted it. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. And then the fucking show didn't get renewed.
yeah. That's a shame because that was a great show, and he was perfect in that role. You
Yeah,
know.
like I said, if that lasted even like a couple more seasons, it probably would have led him to getting like just being in. I mean, all those characters, everybody who was in these Christopher Guest movies,
Yeah,
like Eugene Levy was like trapped in those fucking American Pie movies. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he would even show up in those shitty sequels that were like straight to tape.
Yep.
Sure, they
Yeah.
have to budget one to get him to show up for 4 minutes in the movie,
Right.
but like talent, like those Christopher Guest movies completely changed Eugene Levy's just how
Yeah.
he was like,
Yeah.
and then also getting on Schitt's Creek and Catherine Hahn and everything like that.
Yeah. Catherine O'Hara is great.
I don't know if
She's
they're
really, really good.
fucking allergies or something. I hope it. I think it is. It's just I think I have
Yeah.
like a fucking hair in my mouth or something.
Oh.
I can't stop coughing and sneezing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah,
Um,
I forgot. You're right. We were going to talk about. I texted you one night and asked you. I feel like
you
watching
like this
something.
show?
I do. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's real
I'm
good.
gonna keep it around, and then I'll probably get rid of Apple for a while.
Yeah. Um.
No, there's really
It.
nothing else I want to watch, really.
Yeah. Uh. I would say I don't know when For All Mankind is coming back.
Probably
But
not
I'll.
anytime soon. I feel like I haven't heard anything. I bet you it doesn't come out till next year. Yeah, or if it does come out, it'll be like end of the year.
Well, I know they're making. They've already. They're well into making the spin-off series. Remember they're making one about the Russian air base.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that one. I don't
Eh,
know. I
I'll
mean,
tell
it's
you.
okay. I want to see the original series, see where it goes, but
Yeah, I was talking to someone about For All Mankind, and it's so weird. Whenever I describe it, it doesn't sound like an interesting show, but it's one of my favorite
I
shows.
think you just have to
Uh,
like sell on the fact that like, it just goes so crazy like how far we go as like
yeah,
people, like how reactive we are to like the fucking Russians getting on the moon first
right.
and like that by doing that it forces like a space race like that leads us to like just advancing so much. But it's kind of interesting too at the same time because you feel like Earth, the way they depict Earth itself
Yeah,
doesn't feel very advanced. Earth should
I
be more
know.
advanced too.
Yeah,
Like Earth should be
although
incredibly advanced. At least like everyone should be driving like electric cars or shit. Or I
yeah,
don't know. I would just imagine things would be a little more. It wouldn't look so much like our world at all. Like it would just be different. Like where we
unless
allocate money to would be different. Like
you would think, but I don't know. I mean, like
because you
if you
see, like, remember the end of it when they show like, because what was last season? Was last season supposed to be like the 2000s,
yes,
which is insane. Yeah, because the 90s was when
yeah,
they go to Mars, and then the 2000s they already got the established base, and then
yeah.
like this one's supposed to be like what 2010, but it looks like it might as well be like the year fucking 3000. I mean, like,
Someone was saying that an interesting feature to keep the lead character, uh, what is his real name? Joel
I
Kinnaman.
forgot. You talk about
And
the he was like an old man in this
yeah.
season already,
Well,
and
they've aged him. Most of the time, they make the characters younger than what, but the guy's like 90 now or whatever. They said that it would make sense they could kill him off in the show, but then use him without makeup as like flashbacks. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like they could keep him in the show forever and just do
Yeah, Margot's
flashback.
got to be like old. I mean, her character was definitely younger than him in the first
Yeah,
season,
for
but
sure.
she's well into her 70s at this point. I mean, he's in
Yeah.
his 70s, I think, in this first season. No, no, in the third, this
Yeah.
last season, but in this one, he'll be like well into his 80s. I
Yeah.
bet you he won't be in it that much.
Yeah. I think they would kill him off and then
Well,
use him in flashbacks or
or
something like
he's
that.
like, I don't know, an elder on Mars. I mean, like Mars has like they basically show you to you, and they're like it's like their own society. Because that was like the big twist or whatever in the end was like how they decided to do their own thing that would not
Yes.
it didn't benefit Earth, it benefited Mars. So it's like now they're Martians.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not on
how
Earth anymore. Mars is their home.
that's how that show The Expanse of the book series
Right.
eventually, yeah, they made it so that like Mars eventually just declared independence. They're like, we're not.
But and it altered how people were a little
Yeah.
bit. They
Oh
adapted. They
yeah.
became like
Yeah.
taller and
A
thin
little
and kind of
taller.
weird,
Yeah. Yeah. That was real
which makes
cool.
sense. It's actually kind of funny. Think about like we're just a version of or whatever. Like the universe is really just
Oh
humans that and over time they're just altered by adapting to the planet.
yeah.
I mean, that would make fucking
It
sense.
would.
Like
Yeah, it'd make perfect
evolve
sense.
like people would have like fucking sugar glider wings, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
I mean it's like whatever it is though, your body has to adapt. It's like that happens in this even on our planet. The human body adapts to like over generations.
Yeah.
Cool wings like cockroaches that like make that
Ugh.
horrible noise when you
Oh
fly.
God. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I will definitely keep watching the studio, and I think that'll be good. I don't think there was I don't think there was any other shows going on. Uh
There's
I,
something else starting up soon. That I think I might be on Max or oh, The Last of Us is starting up.
last will start
I think
soon.
that's actually I think that might be this weekend.
It could be.
Let's see,
Um
Last of Us season's coming. Look it up. I knew it was coming back in
yeah.
April.
Uh
I think
well,
people
it's
are going to be
April. I
very
mean,
disappointed if they follow the game. I kind of know like a little bit
yeah, I
about the
do. Yeah.
game.
I do. I played the game. I think they will change the I think they will change things because I can't see.
Next week, not this week. Next week.
Okay, I can't see them staying too true to the game series.
Yeah, because all
Or
right, spoilers in the
yes,
game. Spoilers to a game I never
right,
played. In the part two, the main
right,
character that is played by Pedro Pascal
yes,
is killed like pretty much in the beginning of the game.
yes, very, very
And
quickly.
the character that kills him is like the daughter of like
The
because in
doctor,
the
I
end of the
think.
first season he just kills like all those fucking doctors to save
Yeah.
her. He just kills
Well,
everybody. It's crazy.
yeah. In the game, basically the story is they might have been able to solve the problem by operating on the girl. I forget her name, but the girl. And Pedro Pascal's character's like, no, I'd rather not. Like I'm not going to
Well, there was
sacrifice
no
her.
proof. The way they showed it, it was like,
But in the game, it's a little. You think it's a
oh,
little.
they show that there's a better chance that this
Yes,
actually would have worked.
yes. It's a little more clear. Like, look, we can save a lot of lives if we kill
Because
this
in the
kid.
show, it looked like they were just gonna like
It looked
fucking
like a
destroy her
crapshoot.
body for no reason
Yeah,
and she'd be dead.
it looked like a crapshoot
It looked sloppy. It didn't
in the
look like they
show.
did. It's like the end of Smile and that guy has her in the Pizza Hut. And it
Yeah,
kind of wasn't
yeah.
that much different.
No, because it looked like it was maybe not going to work. Um, but the in The Last of Us, the first one, it seemed to me, the way I remember it, is that you felt like there's a likelihood that that could solve the problem, and the protagonist says no and kills those other people to save the girl. The girl wakes up later and says what happened, and he said it was they were bullshitting. They couldn't solve anything because he didn't want the girl to feel guilty about
In
what
the
he did.
game, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then in part two, yeah, one of the doctor's kids comes and kills the protagonist. That's
Yeah.
like how that begins. Which is like a pretty cool video game thing, but a less cool TV show thing. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
especially if you like the character and he
Yeah,
was like depicted as the main character. Like
right.
when they killed Ned Stark in the first season of
Yes.
Game of Thrones, it was like you might like you're killing Tony Soprano in the first
Yeah.
season of The Sopranos,
Yeah.
and yeah, he
It was
gets
a
whacked,
big
and the rest
deal.
of the
Yeah.
show is just about everybody else. Thankfully, with Game of Thrones, there was enough rich characters, and it became its own thing, and it evolved. But man, that was scary. It had like a
Yeah.
crazy ending. The fucking that shitty kid ends up becoming king, and like there's
Yeah.
all these betrayals. The fucking what were they? The Starks? No, what's
Yeah.
their family?
Well, the Starks, the Lannisters, and the
Lannisters,
Barthelons. Yeah.
Lannisters like have like take over. It's like a coup almost, and it's like
Yeah.
everyone has like a shitty ending in that first season in a way, you know?
Well, I read the books when they came out, and even in the books, it was pretty shocking. And it was a little different because like you're jumping around from character to character, perspective to perspective. There wasn't necessarily like a lead character like there is in a TV show where like
Well, they got Sean Bean. He was like a
yes,
big name.
right. It was
Obviously,
a
Peter
little more
Dinklage was a
shocking
big
in
name, but like,
yeah. I'd say it's a little more shocking in the TV show than the books, and that might be the case with the video games too. Maybe they will kill off Pedro Pascal, but I doubt it. We'll see. We'll see.
well, we'll see. I mean, if they go by that rule, he should be killed by the end of the first
Yeah.
episode. I mean, it might
Yeah.
happen. Like you said,
Oh,
they'll
and
keep him
Andor
around for
comes
some
back soon.
flashbacks or something, but like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll see. Or maybe they kill him off in the end of the season. They just drag it
Right.
out a bit.
That could be. Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know how many. I think they have a limit. They're not going to do like a crazy amount because I think
Yeah.
technically the second and third season is based on the second game.
Okay. That could be, it could be that they kill him off at the end of the second season. I mean, I could see that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
still think we'll wrap this up in a second. I still think there's two scary scenes in The Last of Us. There's some crazy zombie shit in the
yes.
trailer. I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
that. Yeah, that looks good. I think people are gonna be happy about that. The first season, that first episode, you're on that talk show.
Yeah.
The guy who's like talks about the mushrooms and like if the
Yep.
body were to change, the temperature would drop or
Right.
go up. These things would be, and there'd be nothing we could do about it. And it's just
Right.
scary to see. It's like some random talk show in the '60s, and
It reminds me of those the
Dick Cavett
the
or something.
like in the Dawn of the Dead or Walking Dead, like the
Yeah,
scenes, like the news scenes, whatever. It was
but
real,
it's just
real.
cool because it's like
Yeah.
you're like, okay, is this gonna play into the show? And it doesn't. It's just a interesting thing, and it takes
Yep.
place like 30 years before any of that shit goes down. I do like again too the like kind of like alternate reality where it happened in like what 2003, and we're actually
Yeah.
we are technically in the past watching the show because to
Right.
them it's only like it's 10 years later, so it's like 2013.
Yeah.
Um, that show does it right as opposed to Electric State, which was just weird. That didn't.
Yeah. That's a shame. Yeah.
Oh, interesting thing about the Electric State. We talked about that. So the books that it's based on, they made
Yeah. Yeah.
another show based on this guy's artwork, and
Oh,
it was a thing called like The Loop or something on Prime.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was depressing, man. That
That
when
was
that kid,
super.
when the brother
Yeah.
they switch places and he's trapped in the robot or something, and the kid's like who takes over because he wanted his family or something.
Right.
He wanted his life. His life was better.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna take your life. It was super fucked up. And that guy's
It was.
body, he was like trapped in like some dead robot.
Yeah. That was a very, very scary. I forgot about that. You're right. That was
And
based on
then
the same
they
guy.
did revisit that story like in a later episode, and you see him
Yeah.
talking to the guy as his brother, but it's not his brother, it's that guy. And he like, yeah, this is my life. He took it, and
Right.
like after a year or so, he took his name back, and he was just him in that body. He's like, it was just crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was depressing. It was a fucked up show in a ways,
The whole show is. It was the
and it had all
music.
the robots and stuff. So it worked. That style works in that show. Didn't work
Yeah.
in the Electric State. It was too weird, too
Well,
goofy,
the
and
Electric
also
State
really
was too
dark.
goofy. I mean, that was
It
the
was all
problem.
over the place.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. The Mr. Peanut signs a treaty with Bill Clinton. That's just fucking stupid. I'm
It
sorry.
should have. It could have worked if they'd played it for laughs, but like they wanted it both ways. They wanted these funny, kind of absurd scenes, but they also wanted to treat them seriously. It just
Yeah.
doesn't work, So
Also,
yeah,
I would not have Bill Clinton. I think that's a little ridiculous.
I
I
do
don't know why.
too.
It took
Yeah,
me out of it a bit because I'm just like,
yeah. They should have just made it like Bill Pullman, something
what?
like
Bill
a Bill
Billboard.
Pullman character. Like
Yo, Bill Pullman. You just get him.
yeah.
PH Bill Pullman for this scene, and he
There you
could be
go.
the president. And
Yeah,
I guess this could just lead to because this is actually would take place before Independence Day came out.
yeah.
because it's like 93 or 94.
Keep the continuity. So
yeah, sure, it makes total sense. All right,
all right.
we're done here.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.